All right, welcome to Telling It Like It Is. Doing an NBA playoff preview with the Knicks and the Hawks. As you know, I'm up here in New York with big-time Knick fan, Pat Fabian, former student.
Woo! Let's go, baby.
He loves his Knicks. I don't know a bigger Knick fan in the world. So that's why we couldn't wait to have Coach Fabian on, also an excellent basketball player in the day and an excellent basketball coach. So he's well-versed in his hoop. We text back and forth during the games many times. And it's been fun to watch the Knicks this year. So how do you think Tibbs did with the guys this year, Coach?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure.
But you say I'm the biggest Knicks fan in the world. I think I need one of those MSG commercials. I'm just working on getting the basement all set up.
Sure.
No, but so we were talking a little bit. I think defensively, obviously, he's been amazing. I think they jumped from 23rd to last year to 4th in the league this year. He's gotten every single guy to buy in on defense, and I think it's just like amazing to watch because I've been watching the Knicks for the past 10 years, just absolutely atrocious on D.
Yeah.
So it's been sweet to see that. Everyone obviously talks about the culture.
Yeah.
He's been he's just holding everyone accountable, and that's what's been great. I was actually surprised at the big jump from the shooting from last year.
Sure.
I mean, they've had 5 or 6 guys that are shooting 40% from 3 or 39%.
It's amazing.
So he's obviously putting work in on the offensive end too. And I think that kind of starts with the culture because, all these stories have come out about Julius Randle getting the guys coming off the bench or not coming off the bench, coming off the plane, going right to a gym, shooting. They're putting in extra work. And that starts with the coach. He put that on Randle, that responsibility, and he's brought the young guys around. And then aside from Tibbs, I think you got to kind of credit the front office too. Like they're finally like somewhat competent, which is like a big sigh of relief. So it's been freaking awesome, man. I'm so pumped.
Yeah, you got to be really excited. Now the first game is when?
Sunday at 7:00.
I'm looking forward. I'm happy for you because I know how long you've been a Knicks fan, and I know you're also been a Brown fan, and that's not easy. And now the Browns are good. Now the Knicks are good, so you'll be
perennial loser. I'm a perennial loser my whole life.
You've been rewarded. You've been rewarded for your patience.
Yeah.
But it's funny you bring up Randall. I really believe he has to get some consideration for MVP. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he should be considered, but I don't think he will be. Just because of the NBA narrative. Like obviously, sure. Jokic has been the guy that's been improving year after year, and he's also putting up like absolute insane numbers. I also think like Steph is kind of a dark horse candidate of being MVP, and then obviously you have your Giannis and Harden. Absolutely. But
so many good players.
Yeah, but I think like Randall's been so durable. I mean, the guy, I think he played in every game. There might have been one game he sat, and he aside from the scoring, he's making everyone better. He's doing what we all wished Melo would have done when he was here, because Melo was putting up the points, but he'd have 4 rebounds, 2 assists, no assists or whatever. So, and then obviously, Randall has just been unbelievable. I think he should be, but I think he should be considered for first team All NBA if it wasn't for Embiid and Jokic and Antetokounmpo. So he'll probably get a second team.
I think the narrative part you mentioned too. I think people don't classify him as a superstar, and it's a superstar league, but he's made himself into superstar numbers. So he's like, I would consider him a guy that probably out of Kentucky. I watch a ton of college hoop. I know you do too. Out of Kentucky, he kind of got lost with the Lakers, and he was kind of a tweener. But he really has improved. His J has gotten so much better. And just his overall passing, he's great in that mid post if a team comes to double. I mean, he's physically strong as an ox. I mean, he's tough. I mean, I'm really proud of like and I'm not like I said, I just watched the Knicks for fun. I'm proud of him because he's the guy that really worked. You could tell he worked his ass off, and like he's been impressive.
Well, it's funny because like I never really watched too much of Randall because he wasn't on the Knicks. So, I would see him play, 2 games a year when he was on the Lakers and when he was on the Pelicans. And I know he was putting up good numbers with the Pelicans.
Sure.
But I never would have known that he was like a workhorse like that.
Right.
And, like that makes me love him so much more because like I don't know if you read that story that he had on on the Players Tribune about how his first year in New York last year, he did way too much. He thought that he had to be the guy to do everything, and he kind of didn't trust his teammates and wasn't trying to use them. And like the fact that he was able to see that and then work on it and work his ass off, it was like the best. It's just awesome. It's like awesome to see all the hard work pay off, you know?
Yeah, I'm so proud. I mean, I'm proud of him. I don't even know him. I'm just proud of him.
It's like one of your own.
You just like watching these guys work, and you love to see the success. I have to say, he's the guy that he definitely could win Most Improved too.
I think he should.
I mean, he has been amazing, and I'm really proud of the leadership. I think because I think one of the things that makes this team so appealing to me is there's nobody what I like to call Jake in it. Like they're all giving effort. I feel like there's nobody like that runs the team besides the coach, and I feel like that's important. I feel like Randall's the reason for that. And I like coaches who go back and grab their old guys who have helped them. Like obviously, they made sure they got D Rose, and they made sure you got your post player there, the bald guy who's always been wonderful.
Taj Gibson. I got a funny story for you about Taj Gibson. So you know my nephew TJ, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So he loves basketball, but ever since he was young, like 8 years old, he's been the biggest Taj Gibson fan I've ever seen. He might be the only person I know with a Taj Gibson Bulls, Timberwolves, and Knicks jersey. He loves them.
Hey, that guy works.
He's been incredible. I think the offense runs better with him when he's in.
Sure.
Obviously, like I love Noel, but he's also got like frying pans for hands. The guy can't catch. But I love Taj. He's been freaking awesome. But that's what's great about Tibbs, like kind of rolling it back with those guys, because that's what we talk about, the culture. They know what to expect from him, and Rose is like the most team guy I've ever seen.
Yeah, he's amazing.
And they've also rubbed off on them. It's been great. I love it.
I'm very happy. I'm very happy for Rose. I'm really happy for him after what happened to him, because I always say this. Now you don't remember Isaiah Thomas, the old Isaiah Thomas, but I always say to people, 6'1" and under, Isaiah Thomas, the best player I ever saw, and I don't like it.
That's what everybody tells me that.
But I'm telling you, Rose, until he got hurt, was right there.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't seen a guy like Isaiah. And I don't say that lightly. I don't like overrating guys. Rose was doing things athletically, and I was just like, wow, I hadn't seen a guy like that. And then he got that non-contact injury, which is bad. And I'm just happy for him to have a little rebirth here and have some success. And I think they really managed his minutes well.
Yeah, they do a great job, and he's still getting starters minutes. It's just I feel like they do it the right way,
Now is Mr. Robinson going to be available?
I don't know. He might be. I'm not really sure. So I'm not the biggest Mitchell Robinson bandwagon guy. I think Noel does the same thing as him, and I think Noel's a little bit feistier, but he's also young, Robinson. But the Knicks went 18-9 without him. Now, I hope that they do get him back, in the sense of, I think Clint Capella is going to be tough to handle on the boards. That guy is an absolute beast, and and Noel is a string bean. So it will be tough. I think Taj can play with him a little bit. I also hope they put that guy Pell in a little bit. At least he's some muscle. But I'm not sure about Robinson.
Probably be out, I guess, but
I think he'll be out.
I'm hopeful because I love his shot blocking ability. It's funny you mentioned Noel. I always think it's smart business to look at those former really, really high draft picks like a Noel, and it hasn't worked out in their first or second stop. Sometimes to throw them a contract and see maybe if they bite and it works out, because he's obviously having a great year, be it as a role player, but still he's doing great things for the Knicks. And he's a part of something, and he's so athletic. People forget how talented this guy is just because it hasn't worked out for him.
Didn't he tear his ACL his first or second year?
Yeah, he was one of those 6 or higher draft picks that just didn't work out, and then people write you off. But people forget the talent doesn't go away. So like a guy like him, he fits the modern day NBA great because he has length. He's very athletic. He's very mobile. For a big guy, I'm just really happy for him too. That's why I like this team. There's some guys that I just feel like they found their niche, and I'm happy for them.
They're misplaced, like Reggie Bullock going.
Yeah. Oh, look, another one.
Yeah. Alec Burks, I think, stayed with the Jazz, but I never knew that he was this good.
Yeah, me neither.
I mean, I almost would rather him with the ball than Rose sometimes in crunch time. Like
Sure.
he is so good. So it's been cool. Like back to Noel, I think when he was drafted, wasn't he more of a defense and rebounding
Yeah,
type
they
guy?
consider it as like a franchise, maybe
Yep.
center or things of that.
So it was, I mean, the fact that putting him with Thibodeau and that just goes back to the front office. Like that was a great pickup, and they got him on a deal. I don't know what it
Yeah,
is,
it's
but
a great move.
nothing,
You take that
it's
talent
basically
and
peanuts.
you reach out.
Yeah. So I've been pumped with him. I love him.
So, what are the guys you've been really pleased with besides Noel and Randall and guys like that?
Well, yeah, obviously Randall, Rose. I talked about it before. I loved Barrett's shooting improvement this year.
Sure.
This might surprise you a little bit, and
Sure.
this is recently, but I'm starting to fall in love with Obi Toppin.
Great.
I
Great.
think I think he's at first he was lost.
Right.
Like he not even like he hit a wall. It's just he didn't have any time to prepare. He was injured the first 10 or 11 games.
Sure.
And I think he's starting to shoot the ball a little bit better. He's getting better on D. He's still got a lot to learn, but he moves the ball so well on offense. Like he never holds it. He's setting good screens and he's so energetic. He brings that garden energy almost, like
yeah.
he's always going for rebounds. He's hustling his ass up the floor. I
Workers
love
love
Obi.
that.
And then also quickly, like
Stud, I love him.
he's great. He's a competitor. Doesn't miss free throws, and he just seems to hit big shot after big shot. Like that getting him at 25 or 23.
Yeah. That's a great pickup.
Another great move by Leon Rose and Scott Perry. I freaking love it. And then obviously Burks and Bullock. I mean, Bullock has been like Mr. Reliable.
Sure.
He gets hot. He just keeps going and going. And when we talk about Randall getting those double teams, it seems like they're just always in sync. And he finds him wherever he is. And when he gets going, I just feel like he's never gonna miss.
Yeah. It's a fun team and it's got great pieces. And that just again shows you how good Tibbs is at running a game because some nights you got to rely on different guys than other nights. And as a coach, you always got to be ready because like every night's not every guy's night, and I always tell my guys that over the years, like some nights you might play 5, the other night you might be hot and play 20. So like, I'm trying to ride the wave and, he's done it. Tibbs has done just a great job. I mean, this he's got to be up for coach of the year. He didn't get it. I know Monty Williams got it. But Tibbs definitely had a great year. I think the GM has to be up for, the front office people of the year because people don't realize outside of New York just how bad this franchise was.
It was an absolute joke.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Think about like the Andrea Bargnani trade.
Oh gosh.
It just every move they made just set them back year to year. And the fact that they're 4th in the East
is amazing.
And home court advantage and with like a very good possibility to win a playoff series is nuts to me. I can't believe it.
Yeah, and an improved East. The East right now, I think, is deeper than it's been in a while.
Yeah, definitely.
It's amazing. It's the last 10 years, the West has been so solid, but the East has some teams that are better than their record, like the Heat and the Celtics. But the Celtics are a little banged up, obviously. But you just see so many, so many good teams in this league, and so you say to yourself, the 4 seed. I was just hoping they'd get in.
Yeah, well, I mean,
now you get a home seed.
Well, you've seen everything, like with all the hype up stuff that they've been saying. Like Bleacher Report had them 23 and whatever. ESPN they were 19 wins. Vegas had them 21 wins. Like,
sure.
I thought they'd win maybe 30 games. I can't believe
that.
Right, I can't believe the improvement and the way they're doing it. That's the other thing. It's total team ball. They play for each other and they're playing defense like you wouldn't believe. So it's just been an amazing surprise. I just love it.
Very, very refreshing in today's NBA that they're playing defense.
No, I know. You never see that.
No.
I mean, like diving on loose balls and everything. It looks like the 2010 ESM Sharks.
That's right. That's right.
They're just getting wins.
You guys played hard every night. The thing is, I think that Tibbs, being a defensive guy, is going to have a great plan for Trey. I see a lot of physical contact. I see a lot of bumping. And I really think how they ref this series makes a big difference. You hate to put it on the Zebras, but last night they let those games be physical. And I think if you let these games be as physical as the ones last night, I think it's a big time favor. What do you think the Knicks will try to do to Trey here? Obviously, he's the guy that makes them run.
So I kind of think that, well, this is more of a what I hope they kind of do.
Sure. Sure.
I kind of hope that I hope he does what the Lakers kind of did to Steph late in the games yesterday. Just trap him,
Yep.
high up in the front court. I mean, in the back court, and force him to get it to one of the bigs, and then scramble from there. I mean, I know they have like so many weapons,
They
but
do.
the Knicks. I mean, I don't know the exact stat, but I mean, I think they're in the top 5, top 10 of 3-point defense.
Yes, they are.
Right. So, I mean, you want to make someone else beat you. You don't want him to go off for 40 every night. I hope they bump him a lot. Double teams. I think they should chase him off screens. Don't let him, don't let him get hot at 3. And kind of blast screens. And then I think kind of just rotating, you know, the different matchups. Like Frank could come in as much as Peyton has been driving me nuts offensively.
Yeah.
He can at least he can bump him around and
You can defend. Yeah.
right. They get physical with him. I think they could definitely cause problems for him. It's just it's going to be tough when he gets going downhill on screens because you don't want to leave Capella, and then
You
you're
want
going
to put
to
him at the foul line either.
right, and you're going to have to live with him, hitting some of those floaters. But
That's okay.
in the NBA, it's better than a 3.
Yeah, and I think quickly, you never know. This guy could be a wild card. This is one of those kids that has no fear.
No, not at all.
I don't think he even knows where he is. He's so
No.
fearless. He just doesn't realize where he's in the NBA. He doesn't realize, I think that's the beauty of a rook. He comes in there and he's just like, I'm ready to go, man. I'm not afraid of anybody. I really like him. So I was looking at the Hawks here, and 8 guys in double figures, which is amazing. But Reddish obviously is out. Hill looks like he's going to be not make it. He played in 71 games, but really some impressive guys. Collins obviously is really a surprise. 17 points a game and 7 boards. Really impressive. Capella, I love Clint Capella. I could not believe the Rockets signed that deal with him and gave him away. He's averaging 15 and 14. That's absurd. Those are like Maurice Lucas numbers from back in the day.
And what's it? I mean, he's got to be shooting over
60%,
60%, right? Or
yeah, 60%.
Yeah. So I mean,
but he's perfect for today's NBA. He's that lob catcher who can play.
Yeah, especially when you pair him with a guy like Trey. Like
oh,
I can't stand watching Trey Young just because of the drawing the fouls. Even though if he was in a Knicks jersey doing that, I would, I would say, look at this guy, he's so creative. But it's like he sees the floor so well. Even when he was in college, he was averaging 10 assists, 11 assists a game. So he makes Capella so much better. And then when you have to focus on them, guys like Gallinari and the kid Herter.
Very good player. Yeah, Gallinari, old Nick.
Yeah, I actually wrote that down. He's one of my all-time favorite Knicks ever. I love them, the Roosters. But story about Herter. One of my best friends from college was one of his assistant coaches, that Shenendahoa.
Right.
Yeah, so he always been talking him up to me. He's good, the kid Herter. He can shoot.
It's funny. Bogdanovich has had a good year too.
Yeah, he's the one that hit the 3 to send it to overtime when they played him back in April.
Yes, I mean he's averaging 16 a game. Happy to see that for him. 90% from the free throw line. He doesn't get there a lot, but he's only played 44 games this year, so he's been a little banged up here and there. But to get some really impressive Gallinari, happy for his career because when they made that wholesale change with Carmelo for all those guys, I never liked that deal. But Herter is a big time player, and if you look, the guy that's the X factor for me is Lou Williams because he could just go off.
I forgot that they have him. Yeah. He's playoff tested.
Yep.
He's tough, man.
Yeah.
What other vets do they have coming off the bench though?
Well, like I said, they have the guys that play a lot. Definitely. Well, Hill is going to be out, like we said.
Right.
That's a problem. But Gallinari is mostly a starter here. But Herter is going to be a big guy off the bench for them. Bogdanovich being healthy, obviously Capella starts, but Lou Williams off the bench, shooting 40% from 3.
He's going to be tough.
Yeah, 39.6 from 3. I mean, so he's, Lou is another one of those guys. Like quickly, he just doesn't care. He's going to go. He's not afraid of anything. Reminds me of Jamal Crawford.
Yeah,
just a guy that could fill it up.
Yep, 6th man of the year. Multiple times.
Never afraid, and I respect that. I respect the guys like that. But there's some tough guys here. 50 games played by Okongwu. He's tough. I mean, DeAndre Hunter, who knows? I mean, he's so athletic and so long and such a good defender. I know he has only played in about 30 games, but you just say to yourself, you never know if a kid like that in a matchup, get the right matchup that you want. So I was just really impressed by their numbers here. Trey is obviously, shooting 44%, which isn't great, but He's shooting 34 from three. So I think, you got to keep him off the foul line because he's 86% here on the foul, 88% on the foul line. So
He's
I
basically
feel
one
like
man.
this definitely, if you bang him around and the refs let you do it, I feel like you're going to have some success. I mean, what's your biggest fear for the series? If you had to say one thing that's scary.
Offensive rebounding.
Okay.
I think that they could give up a lot of offensive boards. I like I said earlier,
Yeah.
Capella is so strong. Noel is skinny. He could push him off the block. And I just like you said, I get afraid of the refs because the Knicks play such physical. They play such physical defense, and they have big, strong guards. Like even a guy like Bullock, he might not be quick enough, but he can push Trey around. Burks can push Trey around. But like you said, they could definitely wind up shooting 35 free throws a game, and there goes the series.
And what's your best case scenario for the series? What would be like the dream situation for you?
Dream situation.
Yeah.
Knicks in 4. The game's not even close. They cover every spread, and we're good. You kidding me? So Randall averages 40. We're good.
You definitely feel that Knicks in 4 would be like obviously the perfect scenario.
Yeah, no, I think I could see them winning in 6. I could see it going 7. I think they need to win game 1. I just feel like if they can come out and punch the Hawks in the mouth, I think it'll be a tough series to climb up against the Knicks because they're just like they're so physical and they win in every different way. I think during their win streak they were scoring 120 points a game.
Yeah.
Something like that. And then, they're holding opponents to 100 points a game. So, I would love to see them win in 6. That would be my.
Yeah. The only fear I would have for the Knicks is, like I said, the ref in the series is always a fear. But the other thing is how you respond that first 10 minutes of game 1. Here you are. You're so hyped for the playoffs. You haven't been there in ages. I know these guys are all new, so that's a positive. But you just don't want them to. You just don't want them to play with any pressure. You want them to just go out and play like they have the whole year. So I fear game 1 because it's one of those games where you could see maybe getting off to a bad start and then having to come back and climb that hill all day. Which in an NBA game today, a 20-point spread you can recover from.
Right.
But I just feel like Frank Ntilikina is going to have some big minutes here. I feel like I know people. He's a punchline for a lot of Knicks fans, but I feel like. Just because they drafted him high, was that the kid's fault? So he's not a great shooter, but I feel like a great defender, and I feel like he could definitely do some positive things for them this series by spelling some guys and giving some minutes, those valuable minutes. Because I think a guy like Trey, he's not a big, strong guy, so I feel like you have to rely on wearing him out over 7 games, and I feel like Ntilikina leaning on him for 10 to 12 minutes a night. Getting a fresh body and maybe letting Barrett use his length on him and try to give him some different looks. I feel like a guy like Ntilikina could definitely make a difference.
Well, so Knicks fans, like the ones I talk to at least, all want Frank to do good. And it's like, like I said to you before, when I'm watching the games, it's Frank comes in and he does the usual floater that's 3 feet short, and then he clanks one off the backboard and you're like, why did we draft this guy? I hate this guy. And then he comes out and he's stopping everybody, he's getting steals, it goes underlooked. He makes so many deflections in games. It's like he disrupts everyone on offense. And like you said, like all these big guards that are bumping Trey, he'll eventually get worn out. I mean, that's tough to do. That's tough to do for 7 games. So
yeah,
I would love to see Frank have some meaningful minutes though. He's sneaky competitive, Frank. Like I think he wants to win just as much as any other guy. And he's just not loud about it. But I just hope he gets in and disrupts some stuff.
I agree with you, and I think that those 10 minutes every night to 15 minutes covering this guy could wear him out because you're not worried about your fouls. You're not going to foul out, and you give him different looks, and you let Frank lean on him, and maybe let Barrett give him a look or two, and I just feel like over a series, it has a cumulative effect, and I feel like those long jumpers at the end of a series when you're a slighter build guy. As a small person myself, you wear out. The body just banging on you. 20, 30 pounds makes a difference. And Frank is solid, and I'm hoping that he does a good. I think Emmanuel can help him out too, give him some different looks. And like I said, Lou Williams for me is the wild card, and obviously Capella's going to get his. But Lou and Gallinari, if they're hitting, oh my goodness, that's a scary team because you got to stop Trey, but then he's going to kick. So, and then you got the lob catcher in the middle there. But again, like you said before, Herter is going to be a big factor in the series as well. So
he can shoot, he can drive.
And what's the prediction on a series from like Vegas' standpoint? Are they the Knicks favorite?
It's like it's kind of been going back and forth. It's right now. I think it was even money, or the Knicks are a very very slight favorite. They're like -110 to win the series.
I'm gonna put you on the spot.
I'll be taking that.
What do you think? What do you think? What's your prediction for the series?
I'm gonna go with Knicks in 6. I mean, I wasn't saying Hawks. There was no chance. You know that, but I'm gonna be generous and say Knicks in 6. I'm hoping Knicks in 5, but Knicks in 6 is my prediction. Market.
Knicks in 6. All right, I like that. So you're gonna wrap it up in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. I'm hoping they win, and then I'd like to see them get a shot at the Nets there. Not the Nets, the Sixers.
Oh, see, I would love to play the Nets. I would love it.
Yeah, but I guess you'd have to play the Sixers, assuming.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now I have to say, I'm hoping for the Knicks or the Sixers to win the NBA title. That's what I'm hoping for. Now that Murray's out for Denver, I was looking root for them. I love Murray, but they ain't gonna win without him. But well, I'll tell you what. After the Knicks win here, we have to have you back on for the next matchup, which will probably be the Sixers. The Sixers are going to be playing
the winner of Wizards Pacers
tonight. And I tell you, Sabonis has been a beast. I can't believe how good he is. So an undersized center who's just killing people. So this has been great to have you on, and I really appreciate you having you on. And I'm hoping that the Knicks get through. And I know we'll be texting back and forth during the series. I'll try to keep you calm.
I told you I'll be there. I'll be there game 1 and game 2. So
awesome for you, man. It's great because I'm really happy for you because I know you've been a Knicks fan, so long as I know you. And that's hard because people leave their teams these days, and you didn't. So I know you definitely know that with the Browns because you had a shot last year. You had the Chiefs.
No, they were right there.
Yeah, you had the Chiefs by the neck.
It's the most surprising year of my life. All I needed was a pandemic for my teams to be good.
Well, so we'll be catching up with you, and thanks for coming on, telling it like it is, and I'll be rooting for you Knicks.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'll come back on whenever you need me.
All right, thanks.
See you later.